Rapture sign. Lake Mead is drying up. Be prepared. To the dismay of many who depend on the Colorado River for their water supply, Lake Mead has dropped to its lowest level since the reservoir was filled in the 1930s after the completion of Hoover Dam, and the trend shows no signs of stopping. But what does it mean? How is it related to the Rapture? Let's find out. The largest reservoir in the United States, Lake Mead, is just 36% filled at the moment. The lake level has decreased by over 20 feet in the past year. The water level in Lake Mead was so high in the year 2000 that it was almost touching the Hoover Dam spillway gates. The reservoir level has dropped by about 143 feet since then. Not to mention current levels are the lowest they've been since 1937. All of Arizona, Nevada, California, and parts of Mexico can get water from the reservoir in Las Vegas. The lake's inflow has been decreasing for years due to persistent drought and warmer temperatures brought on by climate change, both of which are major factors in the wide gap between water needs and available water in the Colorado River. The rapid decrease of the lake has been exceeding predictions made only a few months ago. In June 2021, its surface dropped below 1,071.6 feet, breaking a record set in 2016. However, the watershed is now so dry and depleted that Mead is expected to continue declining next year and into 2023. In that year, inflows helped boost the lake levels back up. The depletion of Hoover Dam. Hoover Dam is in jeopardy due to a catastrophic lack of water from the Colorado River. Although the government isn't anticipated to declare a shortage until August, Mead has already dropped below the official level in the past month. Next year, Arizona, Nevada, and Mexico will see significant reductions in their water allocations as a result of this. If the reservoir keeps dropping, as official projections suggest it will, the Southwest may be compelled to make even more severe water reductions. Impact on Arizona. Arizona will see the most severe water reductions in the United States after the implementation of drought measures. That will lessen the amount of water going via the Central Arizona Project Canal to Pinal County's croplands, where crops include alfalfa, cotton, wheat, and others are grown. Since the lack of Colorado River water has left farmers in Pinal short, they plan to leave some property unplanted over the next couple years while they pump more groundwater from freshly drilled wells. Cities in Arizona will not see any reductions to their water supplies during a Stage 1 drought, but if Lake Mead keeps shrinking, that might alter in the next 2 years. Impact on other countries. Las Vegans are consistently cutting their water usage by enough for their water provider to chip in some of the savings from the unutilized quota, but it hasn't stopped Nevada's political leaders from mandating the elimination of non-functional turf in the Las Vegas area in the name of water conservation. This includes grass on medians and outside businesses and subdivisions. Cities from Denver to Tucson, as well as over 4.5 million acres of farmland from Wyoming to the U.S.-Mexico border, rely on water from the Colorado River and its tributaries for their water needs. To irrigate hay and cotton fields, fruit orchards, and farms that produce a majority of the country's winter vegetables, almost 70% of the water diverted in the 7 U.S. states is used. Drought Contingency Plan. 2 years ago at Hoover Dam, representatives of the 7 states that rely on the Colorado River met and signed a set of agreements known as the Drought Contingency Plan. This plan outlined measures to take less water and share in reductions during a shortage to reduce the risks of Lake Mead falling to critically low levels. With much of the watershed roasting during the driest 12 months in 126 years of records, decreases have continued, and the drought has increased over the past year. Lake Mead's water levels have dropped because the river and its tributaries have decreased, reducing the flow into Lake Powell on the Utah-Arizona border. It has been reported by Arizona water officials that voluntary conservation efforts over the past few years, as well as initial cuts under the Drought Pact, have increased Mead's levels and delayed the beginning of the shortfall. In a meeting on April 29th, Ted Cook, general manager of the Central Arizona Project, warned that the shortage will cause a severe reduction, but that measures will be taken to exchange resources to reduce the suffering during the first level shortage in 2022. Some farms and other businesses will receive mitigation water deliveries as part of Arizona's plan to manage the shortages, and those who will give water will be compensated, mostly going to the Colorado River Indian tribes and the Gila River Indian community for the water they provided. These payments totaled more than $100 million and were approved by the state and CAP. Effect of global warming. Due to unprecedented drought across the watershed in the Rocky Mountains, where much of the river's flow originates as melting snow, water levels have dropped at an accelerated rate over the past year, surpassing prior forecasts. According to climate scientists, rising temperatures have made the entire watershed thirstier, reducing the river's flow as plants need more water and as moisture evaporates from the ground. Below the bathtub ring of whitish materials that coats the stony desert slopes, the transformations are plain to see along the Lake Mead shoreline. Marinas and boat ramps in Lake Mead National Recreation Area have been relocated and expanded in recent years to accommodate the park's changing shorelines. What is the next step? Arizona, Nevada, California, and Mexican officials have discussed potential future collaboration on long-term initiatives to secure water supplies. Arizona and Mexico are considering working together to construct a desalination plant near the Sea of Cortez to exchange part of the drinking water generated there for the Colorado River water used by Mexico. Authorities in Las Vegas' Southern Nevada Water Authority have proposed funding a water recycling project in Southern California in exchange for access to Colorado River water from the Metropolitan Water District. It is being considered by Arizona water officials to join the other agencies already involved in the project. Stronger sensor networks are needed so that government officials aren't guessing based on obsolete models that weren't created for a climate change environment, and investing in infrastructure projects to lessen reliance on imported water is one example. Some of the 7 states' delegates who signed the drought contingency plan on a terrace overlooking Hoover Dam in 2019 described the agreement as a bridge solution to temporarily reduce the risks of a damaging crash and buy time until 2026, when new rules for sharing shortages would be negotiated and adopted. If Lake Mead keeps dropping below lower trigger points in the future years, the deal sets a succession of progressively larger water cuts. California will begin to implement reductions if the reservoir falls another 26 feet to a height below 1,045 feet. The greatest cutbacks would apply to all 3 U.S. states and Mexico if the water level dropped below 1,025 feet, a scenario the Accord tries to avoid. Some scientists are beginning to express concern that the agreement's proposed deep cutbacks may not go far enough. Extremely dry conditions in the watershed have led some to predict that regional water management may need to take more drastic measures before 2026 to stop Mead's levels from continuing to fall. The question is, what will happen if Lake Mead completely evaporates? The Hoover Dam's ability to produce electricity and supply water to nearby cities and agriculture would be jeopardized if Lake Mead dries up. There would be a severe water shortage in the Southwest when the Colorado River essentially dried up. Although it is possible that Lake Mead could dry up, this is an extreme scenario. We must act to safeguard this essential resource, yet the water crisis at Lake Mead is real and urgent. A 22-year drought has devastated the watershed. Scientists claim that the Colorado River Basin is undergoing artification, which will make water management difficult for future generations, and that the previous 2 decades have been characterized by a mega drought made worse by climate change. Sign of Rapture. The book of Revelation has mentioned drought and famine as one of the final signs of the rapture. There was a 4th living entity, whose voice I heard when the Lamb broke the 4th seal. A white horse appeared before me as I looked around. Death rode it, and Hades trailed close after. They were given dominion over 1/4 of the planet to wipe out its population with swords, famine, drought, and natural disasters. And it seems like time is coming to a close, as we do not have much time before the whole lake dries up. This ends our video for today. What are your thoughts on it? Share with us and subscribe to the channel to see more Rapture-related videos.